Charlotte has like single-handedly fucked me up, like mentally. Like if Applebee's was a city, it would be Charlotte. You know, it lacks culture. If you don't have a degree, you're not going to thrive in Charlotte. You'll be working jobs like Amazon and just these hard labor jobs, or seeing big flagpoles with the Confederate flag swinging in the air. Like, it's just a daily reminder that people who look like me, people who are minorities, are just not accepted. And the longer I stay, it's like the more I'm torturing myself.
Please wait to request your ride until you have reached Central Parking. Thank you.
So right now I'm in Boston. I'm on my way to London. You know, currently I live in Charlotte, and just be honest, I don't like it out there. I don't like Charlotte. With everything, there's pros and cons, but with Charlotte, there's just something that's just dark and not progressive about that city. No offense to people that live there, or who are from there, but it's just not it. I'm gonna give you guys my reasons why. The past 5 years I've been living in Charlotte, my life has just been like hell. If you don't live in Charlotte, you've never been there, or you're curious about living there, let me give you my point of view. If Applebee's was a city, it would be Charlotte. I first moved to Charlotte in 2019. I never wanted to live there. It was a case of have somewhere to live or be homeless. Coming to Charlotte, I already knew what I was getting into, you know, and I'm coming from New York, and a lot of you Southerners don't like New Yorkers for some reason. One reason why I don't really like Charlotte is because, one, it's not a city to thrive in. It's not a money-making city. They're trying to do it, and if you live there, like, be honest about it. Like, when you see all these renovations going on in uptown, downtown, or whatever, it's never a place of entertainment. It's always corporations. Like, nothing new going on in that city. They're just trying to have money coming in. You know, personally for me, I'm not with that 9-to-5 life. I don't want to live that life. I don't want to be in suit and tie, going to the office. The wages in Charlotte is not even that good. If you don't have a degree, you're not going to thrive in Charlotte. You'll be working jobs like Amazon and just these hard labor jobs. Nobody wants to be working at Amazon. Nobody wants to be working at fucking Pizza Hut or Domino's. Nobody wants to be doing those jobs. And I've worked those jobs, and I'm not trying to throw shots at anybody, because a job is a job and you gotta do what you gotta do to get by. But in the long run, long term, it's just not ideal. It's really a city where you're escaping wherever you came from, and you're just gathering yourself to just go somewhere else. You'll look at videos online, people on YouTube, oh, living in Charlotte. Oh, I love Charlotte. It's so good. It's so fun. And it's really not. You know, these people are lying to you to get views. They're not being honest. They're not telling the truth, what Charlotte is really like. Another thing that I really don't like about Charlotte, I can't speak for the whole South because I haven't been that deep into the South before, but one thing I don't like about Charlotte and just North Carolina in general is just, you know, the racism, you know, that I've encountered. Obviously there's racism everywhere, but when you grow up in New York City, racism is not tolerated. Like, you wouldn't dare go into Brooklyn waving a Confederate flag. Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, you just wouldn't do it. Out here, I feel more comfortable being in the hood than I do in rich white neighborhoods. Like, it's tired of riding my bike or driving, and I'm seeing somebody with a Confederate flag slapped on the side of the truck, or seeing big flagpoles with the Confederate flag swinging in the air. Like, it's just a daily reminder that people who look like me, people who are minorities, are just not accepted. I don't have to explain the origin of it, but it's just like, it's not for me. I don't want to be somewhere where I'm reminded of how much we're just not wanted there. I just feel like, you know, Charlotte also, like, you know, it lacks culture. And then that's one thing I noticed when I got there. Like, there's absolutely no culture in Charlotte. And like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad on the city I don't really want to talk bad about anyone's city for anything. It's just the truth. There's no culture to Charlotte. If I asked you what makes New York, New York, you would say the food. You would say the people. How we get up early in the morning, how we get straight to work, how we're just all energetic, how we're just loud, it's everything. If I say what makes New York, New York, you can tell me, you can think of something. You're probably thinking of something right now. If I asked you what makes Charlotte, Charlotte, you got to sit there and think about it. You know, the terrible drivers, the weird people, like there's a lot of weird people out there. And there's weird people everywhere, but Charlotte has some fucking weird fucking people, man. Like, I mean, weird. I see in the comments a lot that people who are from there are just like, oh my God, if you're from New York, just go back. We don't want you. Like, just go back. We don't want you. You guys are ruining North Carolina. You're ruining Charlotte. But what was Charlotte before all these people moved out here? Like, you guys didn't have anything going on. Yeah, your rent was low, but what was going on out here? And the answer is nothing. It's not to hate. It's the truth. Even though Charlotte is like a predominantly white city, it's like the Hispanics, the Mexicans, it's like you can feel that culture more than anything else there. One reason why I need to get out of Charlotte is because of the trauma that I've endured living there. Charlotte has like single-handedly fucked me up, like mentally. Like sometimes I'll be like, when was the last time I smiled? When was the last time I laughed? This place is torturing me day by day. The longer I stay here, the more I'm like disassociating, the more I just don't want to be here. Like before I moved to Charlotte, I was a super extrovert. Moving here, I turned into an introvert. Like I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to keep to myself. And I don't like that about myself. You know, Charlotte is also known for terrible drivers, the worst drivers in America. Like I know they say Florida has bad drivers. Go to Charlotte. I remember I was riding my bike in Uptown and the street is empty and you got some idiot who's double parked on the sidewalk, and as soon as I get to the intersection, he wants to make a U-turn and he hits me and I lose my front teeth. You know, it was so traumatizing, man. I feel like I don't have any room to grow in Charlotte. I feel like all is done for me in Charlotte. And the longer I stay, it's like the more I'm torturing myself. With anything, there's good and bad. You know, I won't speak entirely bad on Charlotte. Like there are some good things about it, you know. You will run into friendly people. You will run into people who say good morning. You know, that's very weird where I come from. People don't do that, but you run into nice people. There are some parts of Charlotte that looks very, you know, peaceful and quiet. You know, you can, you know, have space to just relax. As I get older, I'm 26 now. I moved there when I was 21, and I'm learning that I can't stay in Charlotte anymore. Like it's just not for me. And I think people who make YouTube videos about Charlotte and who live there need to start being honest about it, because it's not what it seems like. Some people are not going to like this video, they're not going to like my opinion, and that's okay. I feel like as somebody who creates content, a lot of the time I don't voice my opinion because I don't want to offend anybody else. I don't want to sit here and say like, yeah, this person's city is terrible, like it's horrible. This is my life and this is how I see it, this is how I view it, and I have to start being honest with myself. You know, I can't lie to myself anymore. You know, I'm 26 years old, and at some point you got to be honest about it. Honest with yourself and just be like, is this for me? as you get older, you should want to live somewhere where you feel comfortable. And from what I see, people just move to different cities because the rent is not as high. But is that your sole purpose for moving? That shouldn't be your purpose of living somewhere because the rent is low. At least for me, it's not. And some people are comfortable with living somewhere that doesn't serve them, and that's them. But for me, I can't do it anymore. Charlotte doesn't serve me, and I'm at the point where I have to start being honest with myself and be true to myself. It's just not for me anymore. It never was for me. You know, my plan right now is to move out of the country, because if I live in Charlotte any longer, like I was saying before, I won't progress. I'll be working these dead-end jobs. I'll be working in factories because there are no opportunities in Charlotte. We got to be honest about it. There's no opportunities out there. That's something that I'm realizing now, and it's okay. The whole point of me making this video wasn't to trash Charlotte. It's me being tired of not being able to express how much I don't like my current situation and how much I don't like what's going on with my life. I don't want to sound like a bad guy, but I have to start being honest and true about it. And if I can't pick the camera up and document my life and show you guys where I'm at in my life, then there's just no point in doing this. There's no point. But in conclusion, I'm gonna start documenting my life about where I'm at, and I want to take you guys along for the ride. And I'm gonna stop being scared to pick up the camera and voice how I feel, because I don't want to offend anybody. But I just have to be honest. Charlotte, North Carolina is not for me. That's about it. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I'm gonna document more of my life. I'll see you guys in the next one.